I'm breaking up with my boyfriend and his entire family thinks I'm an absolute heartless monster. But let me know what you think, because I think that I'm completely in the right and it's totally justified. My boyfriend and I had been dating for almost 2 years and everything in our relationship was pretty great, except for the fact that his mom was not a big fan of me. She's one of those moms that thinks that no one would ever be good enough for her son, so there was no way I was gonna win. But like, girl, your son does not even know how to do laundry, so he's gonna take what he can get at this point. I finally got to the point where I realized that no matter how hard I tried and no matter how great I was, she wasn't gonna like me. She was a boy mom. Finally, my boyfriend and I decided it was time to take the step and move in together, which I was so excited about. But as we started apartment shopping, he was acting really weird and kept insisting that we needed a 2-bedroom, which made no sense to me because we didn't need all of that space. But he kept saying that we could make it into a home office, which again, neither of us needed. So I had no idea, but he was very persistent on the fact that the only thing he cared about was the fact that we lived in a 2-bedroom. Didn't care about the location, just a 2-bedroom. But you know what? I decided I'm gonna be a good girlfriend. I'm gonna compromise. If that's what's important to him, fine. We end up not being able to live in the location I wanted because we couldn't afford a 2-bedroom in that location, and we had to move a little bit farther out from where we wanted to be. But you know, he said he wanted the 2-bedroom. So we move in together. I'm so excited. I'm so in love. And we start to furnish our entire apartment. And the only room that we didn't have furnished after about 2 weeks of living there was the 2nd bedroom. I was like, babe, you really wanted the 2nd bedroom and it's completely empty. So do you want to go to the store? We can look for some office furniture. He's like, no, don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of it. I'll furnish it. Don't worry about it. I was like, okay, honestly, I did not want to deal with having to get furniture for the 2nd room, so go for it. So I get home from work a few days later and I see that he has completely furnished the 2nd bedroom with bedroom furniture, not with office furniture. And immediately I'm like, something's weird here. Something is not right. So I go to my boyfriend. I'm like, hey, what's up with the furniture? And he was like, oh yeah, you know, once I got to the store, I realized it just made more sense to make it a 2nd bedroom. Like, we can still work out of it like an office if we wanted, but making it a bedroom like made more sense. He's just like fumbling over his words. His explanation isn't making any sense. I was like, nope, I don't like this. So finally, I'm just straight up with him. I'm like, okay, do we have some 3rd roommate that I don't know about? Like, is one of your friends living with us and you just didn't tell me? Because this situation is really weird. And he's like, no, of course not. I just thought it made more sense to have a 2nd bedroom. I was like, but you were talking about this office for so long. I was floored. So about another week goes by and that man had not even stepped foot in the 2nd bedroom. I was getting really annoyed at this point because I was like, you made a big deal about wanting it. We couldn't live in the area I wanted, but now apparently you're not even using it. Until one day I get home and I see a ton of suitcases and moving boxes all in my apartment. I was like, wait, I'm sorry. Am I getting dumped? Is my boyfriend moving out? Nope, he wasn't moving out. Someone was moving in. I turned the corner to find my boyfriend and his mother very comfy on the couch. Let me tell you, she was comfortable on my couch, really making herself at home. I guess our home now, not just my home, our home. And I'm really putting the pieces together because the amount of suitcases and boxes she had, way more than just a short visit. Okay, there was no way she was just staying for a weekend. So I walk in, about to have a breakdown, but trying to keep it together. I'm like, hey guys, what's going on? Like, good to see you. Didn't know you were gonna be here. And she barely even looks up from her phone to acknowledge me, like usual. So my boyfriend takes me outside and is like, okay, we should talk about this. I was like, yeah, we really should. I think that'd be great if we talked about this. And he said that his parents were separating and his mom didn't have anywhere to go. And since we had the extra space in our apartment, had that whole extra room, he decided, well, what a great idea. She can move in with us. And this is all news to me. I didn't know his parents were separating. I didn't know that his mom was moving in with us, nothing. So I'm like, okay, wait, how long do you want your mom to stay with us? Like, is she gonna find a different place? He was like, no, I just thought, we have the room, so she can just live with us, just kind of join the lease. I was like, what? I'm sorry, moving with us permanently? He was trying to make it seem like we just happened to get a 2-bedroom and then this just all happened to work out. No. I immediately clocked that. I was like, you wanted this 2-bedroom so bad. I thought it was weird. I thought it was so weird why you wanted this 2-bedroom. Now it makes sense. This whole thing was a plan. He knew he was going to move his mom in since before we even signed the lease to our new apartment. He keeps being like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. And then finally, yeah, he caves because I knew the truth. And he was like, well, I knew you would say no if I told you. So I just thought it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. I was like, no. He was like, I can't kick her out. It's my mom. Like, what do you want me to do? I said, I'm not asking you to kick her out. You don't need to. I don't live here anymore. I'm leaving. We're done. And he's absolutely shocked. He's like, "You're breaking up with me because I want to help my mother?" I said, "No, I'm breaking up with you because you're a liar. You kept all these plans hidden from me to try and force me into a situation. Absolutely not. That's manipulative. That's like pathological liar status. I'm done. That's it." A ton of his family members have been calling me and telling me how horrible and selfish I am, that like he's just trying to help his mother. How could I break up with him for that? Like, no, like that is not the issue here. We are really missing the plot about this breakup. No matter what the situation was, I deserved at least a conversation. That I'm sorry, just doing this, moving her in, that's wild. I don't think I was too harsh at all. I think that the breakup was the only solution to this problem, but I don't know. Let me know what you think.
Am I the asshole for going nuclear on my aunt at my own wedding after her son harassed my sister-in-law? Nope, not at all. My wedding was 2 weeks ago, and I feel like I'm living in the wreckage of a bomb I set off myself. I'm so lost, and I need to know if I'm the monster my family is making me out to be. I, 28 female, just married the love of my life, 30 male. His family is Arab Muslim, and they are, without exaggeration, the best people I've ever known. I'm an only child, and my own family is really complicated. My husband's family welcomed me with open arms from day one, so for the first time, I feel like I've had a real supportive family unit. I'm basically an only child. My half-brother from my dad's side is much older, and he currently lives in Japan. And even though we don't talk much, he still called me to congratulate me. As for my parents, they weren't even supportive of my marriage until I told them I'd cut them off if they kept pushing. So yeah, I already knew going in that I couldn't count on them for anything but drama. The wedding itself was perfect for a while. Everyone was happy. Even my parents were smiling at some point. Then there's my cousin Mark, 35 male. Damn it, Mark. Fuck. My aunt begged me to invite him. And honestly, yes, I regret this. I couldn't really say no because I didn't want any drama. Well, look how well that worked out for you now, Toots. Mark is a walking disaster. He's a womanizer. Has 3 children with 3 different women that he's abandoned. His own father is the one sending the money. He's just a user. But for my aunt, the sun shines out of his ass. So the night was winding down when I heard a scream, and not a happy one. I turned and seen my youngest sister-in-law, Layla, 19 female, backed against a wall. My cousin Mark was standing in front of her and he was dripping wet. She was the one who screamed and she was holding an empty water glass. When I rushed over, Layla was visibly trembling. My other sister-in-law told me what happened. Mark had cornered her and was telling her she was too pretty to be hiding under that thing. Her hijab. Are you fucking serious? I repeat, damn it, Mark. Fuck. Mark said that she was wasting her perfect face. Then the part that made me even angrier, he apparently reached out and tried to tug it off her head to see her beautiful hair. You son of a bitch. That shit pisses me off so fucking much. Like, no, you are not the asshole, because I already know that your auntie is about to come in and try to spout some bullshit about how Mark was just joking or he was kidding or that Layla's fucking sensitive. Fuck that. She deserved every fucking thing you told her. I don't even know what the fuck you told her, but when you tell her, she deserves every goddamn bit of it for fucking trying to defend this bullshit. A bit of backstory. My sister-in-law had a traumatic accident years ago, and ever since then, she's been uncomfortable around men. Even hugging her own dad and brother took years of patience and trust. So for her to be cornered at my wedding by my cousin, telling her to take off her hijab, saying she was too pretty to be covering her hair, and pushing her like that, she was literally shaking. My older sister-in-law, who's a force of nature, was already there and getting in his face. It was about to get physical. My father-in-law calmly stepped between them, looked at Mark, and said quietly but with absolute finality, "It's time for you to leave my son's wedding." I thought that would be the end of it and was ready to console Layla. But then my aunt, Mark's mother, stormed over. "You can't kick him out. He was just joking with her. She's being too sensitive." What the fuck did I say? What did I say she was gonna say? First, it was that he was complimenting her. Now, he was just joking. Before I could even speak, my own mother pipes up. "I'm sorry, but she's right. This is a huge overreaction. Mark didn't mean any harm. That's just how he is." You don't get to say that. You don't get to say that. That girl is literally cornered up against a wall, literally shaking, vibrating in fear. She threw water on him and the bitch still didn't back up. The only reason he backed up was because her sister showed up and got in his face. What the fuck do you mean he was just joking? Mark is a fucking predator. Seeing Layla still shaking and looking so scared and hearing my own mother defend this creep who had just assaulted my new sister, a switch flipped inside of me and I just snapped. I looked straight at my aunt and said, no, he needs to leave now. She started up again. OP, you're not going to disrespect your family like this. And I just let her have it. My family? You don't get to lecture me about family. This is actually why your own is broken. This blind worship of your useless good-for-nothing son is the reason you have one child that ruins every event he attends and another who hasn't spoken to you in 5 years. Damn. You dare wonder why your own daughter went no contact. It's because of this. Because you will always choose him over the people he hurts. So yes, he's leaving and you can leave with him if you want. Mic drop. The entire area went dead silent. I know it fucking did. I know it did because I don't give a damn what was going on. Someone's got to turn the music off because I heard a piece of this and I need to hear the rest. My aunt then started crying. She stormed out with my cousin and my parents trailing behind after they gave me one of their classic, "you're a disappointment" looks. My phone has been a nightmare since. Texts from my parents calling me cruel, vicious, and saying that I used a family tragedy, my other cousin leaving, as a weapon. Telling me about how my aunt has just been sending them messages about how I broke her heart. Don't nobody care. Tell the bitch to build a bridge. No one fucking cares. You defended your creep predator of a fucking son. Remember, let's go back. Let's go all the way fucking back. Back. Mark is 35 years old. Let's go back down. Layla is 19. She's 19. You defended your creep ass son. He was just joking. He meant her no harm. She's 19. This man is 35 years old. He tried to take her hijab off. The comments about her hair means he knows exactly why, one of the reasons that she keeps it covered. He know good and goddamn well it was disrespectful and he was not supposed to fucking do that, and you guys defended him. Don't nobody give a fuck about how her heart is broken. My husband has been supportive. He kept telling me that I was just defending Layla and that my family showed their true colors. But I can't get rid of these moments of guilt. Mark was 100% in the wrong. I've already cut him off. I don't want him anywhere near me or my husband's family again. But the part I keep thinking about is what I said to my aunt. I don't regret defending my sister-in-law. She was scared out of her mind, and I will always pick her over him. But maybe I went too far bringing up her daughter leaving.
Mine were the only children not invited to my brother's wedding, and you won't believe the reason why. There's just me and my brother as siblings. He doesn't have any children yet, and I have two. So the only children in our family. Now, when my brother was getting married, he and my sister-in-law both told me there were no children at this wedding. So of course I said okay, I was never going to argue with that, until I turned up and saw every child from her family there. I'm talking 10 to 12 children. So I walk in and find my brother. I can't even muster a congratulations or a hello. I say to him, I thought there weren't any children allowed. And my brother, my only sibling, said to me, look, I need to choose my battle, and that wasn't one I was willing to fight on. Which is funny because, I have nieces and nephews on my partner's side, and I love them like they're my children. And I know that when my brother does have children, I will love them like they're my children. So why doesn't he feel like that about my children? Anyway, my parents are now telling me to leave it at this point. He only gets one wedding day, so just suck it up. He may only get one wedding day, and his two nephews missed that wedding day, which would be fine if all of the other kids missed it, but they didn't. They were there. I barely made it through that ceremony. Honestly, when he said, does anybody object, I wanted to run up there, grab her bouquet and whack them both round the head with it. But instead I carried on drinking. And it was a long night. So the evening party has started. I'm watching all of the kids run around the dance floor, chasing the lasers, having a fucking blast, whilst my kids were at home in bed. And I just couldn't take it anymore. I walked straight up to my sister-in-law and I asked her outright, why are my children the only ones not invited? And you won't believe what this woman said to me. She spat the words at me. Because they're not normal. And I don't want them to ruin my wedding day. Now is probably a good time to tell you that my boys have autism. It's something they have. It's not who they are. I see my boys as pure magic. They move through this world with eyes that notice things that most people rush past. They hear words as colours and they see shapes as smells, like their senses are playing in a whole nother dimension. And when something catches their interest, they don't just skim the surface. They dive deep, gathering every detail like precious treasure, weaving knowledge into a tapestry so vivid I can almost step inside it. I am in awe of their dedication, their honesty, the joy in their understanding. They teach me patience. They teach me that passion is a superpower. And they teach me that the most beautiful moments can be found in the quietest corners. To me, they're the most sparkliest prizes on the shelf. They're rare, beautiful, and irreplaceable. But to her, their auntie, they're just not normal. As you can imagine, I'm ready to start swinging. I am livid. And now even my husband, my boy's dad, is telling me to calm down, telling me to just leave it alone. In all honesty, all of my family keep telling me to leave. It made it so much worse because I felt so unvalidated in the way I was feeling. I walked away from the bride and made a beeline for my red wine. Because whether they're here or not, I'm going to protect my boys. And then I walked straight back up to her and poured it over her head. Red wine stained down her face and her white lace dress. And then I got really close. And I said, on behalf of my boys, I hope I've ruined your whole fucking day. The fallout since has been catastrophic. Even my mum and dad won't talk to me. Which, to be honest with you, I'm okay with. I almost feel like I had a choice to make. I either had to choose my boys or choose their wedding. And I don't know if the entirety of my family are stuck living with their heads up their ass, but I was always going to choose my boys.
There's a lot of discussion right now on these like child-free spaces that people who are choosing not to have kids are like asking for more and more of. And as a mother, I feel like I have a really unpopular opinion on this, but I agree with them. And that's because children are getting just like such a bad rep these days, and it's not even their fault, but like there are a lot of really fucking bad parents out there. And I came across the perfect example of this yesterday. Sunday afternoon, and me and my boyfriend decided that we wanted to take our son on a bike ride to one of his favorite playgrounds that's a couple miles from our house. So we hop on our e-bikes, we drive him down to the playground. He wants to bring this like Paw Patrol ball. That was like what he wanted to bring. I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Starts playing with his dad, and I'm sitting like at one of the benches around the playground holding this Paw Patrol ball because like he wanted to take it out, but he wasn't currently playing with it at that moment. And this little boy, maybe like 4 or 5 years old max, comes over and he sits next to me. And he like takes the ball out of my hand, and I'm kind of like, I don't care. Like I tell my kid very clearly, if we bring something out to the playground, it is fair game. Like we need to share our toys when we bring something out. If we don't want to bring something to the playground, if we don't want to share something, we leave it at home. I don't care. You can play with it. Like I let him take it. But I thought he's going to like go run off and play with it. No. Kid plops right down next to me, and he's like looking at all the dogs. He's like, what's this? What's this? What's this? Clearly he's never seen Paw Patrol, which like I was shocked by. Maybe my kid watches too much TV. I don't know. But he's like, what's this? What's this? What's this? I'm like, oh, that's like Paw Patrol, like blah, blah. I don't even know their names. So I'm like, that's da-da-da. And he's like, that's a Christmas dog. I'm like, yeah, sure. And he's like going on and on, like literally talking to me for a while. And I normally wouldn't necessarily be bothered by this, but my issue is he was super fucking sick. This kid was snotting everywhere, coughing, and like, you know, when you can hear the congestion in someone's voice, like when he was talking, he was that congested. So it wasn't like he was like getting over something. He was like actively sick. And like sickness doesn't scare me that much anymore now that my kid's in preschool. Like when you have the norovirus twice in 1 year, like you get scared by nothing. But I'm just like not in the mood to be sick right now. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be here. So I let him keep the ball, and I just like walked away pretending like to go see what my kid was doing with my boyfriend. At this point, had no idea who his parent was because there's a lot of families at the park. He's not being watched at all. So he ends up like pretty far away from like where the playground is. And again, there's like no one chasing after him. So keeping my eye on him. Eventually I see a woman like finally run down there, and she's like talking to him. She like gets down kind of like low and like crouches and talks to him. Clearly she's who he's with. And then all I hear her say is, do what you got to do. And then she walks back to where she's sitting, which by the way, I finally find where it is. And it's at the other side of the playground with another kid. So she walks back to where she's sitting. And then this kid, after she says, do what you got to do, ends up walking to another family setup who's having like a legit barbecue. Like they brought their grill, they brought their easy up, like they have tables, like they're having a family barbecue. He walks over to them, sits down in one of their chairs, and starts taking food off of the table. And these people clearly have no idea who this kid is. He actually took stuff off their table and threw it on the ground at one point. This mother, again, is nowhere to be seen. Like, she had lost him again at that point after she said, do what you got to do. Finally, the mom finally sees what the kid is doing, beelines it, and she's like, Tristan! That's his real name. I don't even give a fuck. Tristan! She, like, runs over. She grabs him. I don't even think she apologizes. I think she just grabs him by the arm and, like, yanks him back. At this point, this is like 2 weird instances, and I'm kind of like, okay, this lady is clearly not watching her kid at all, 0%. Here's where it got fucking crazy, okay? Humongous rock at this particular playground, and it's meant for climbing. It's a play structure, but it's large. So she lets her 2 kids, I would say the younger one was probably about 2, and then the older one 4 or 5 maybe. She lets them climb on it, and she lets them climb to the top, and she's not even near them. And like, I wouldn't let my 3, almost 4-year-old climb to the top without me like literally like being like this. Like, it's tall, it's crazy. It's probably meant for like the 10-year-old kids. My kid doesn't even go on it. So whatever. So she's letting them there. She's nowhere to be seen. And I'm kind of like really freaked out at this point, because I'm like, if one of those kids falls, that could be a broken neck. Like, it is 12, 15 feet in the air. It's tall. Older kid starts crying, and she finally walks over, and the older kid wants to get down. She refuses to help him down. The younger kid wants to get down. She takes the younger kid down. The older kid is crying. The older kid sits up there crying for, I kid you not, and I'm not being dramatic when I say this, 15 to 20 minutes. And she stood there and just watched him hysterical cry. Abso-fucking-lutely terrified, because he was too scared to get down off of this play structure. And she would not help him. She sat there and she just kept telling him, we're leaving without you. We're leaving without you. And he was hysterical, to the point where other kids couldn't even climb on this thing. Like, she was ruining the park for other kids because her kid was throwing a fit on top of this thing because she wouldn't get him down. It was wild. This is so evident to me that so many people out there are just bad fucking parents. They should have never had fucking kids. And I truly believe that kids get a bad rep most of the time because they just have fucking bad parents. And it's really sad, because there are really good kids out there. But at the same time, I totally get people being like, I don't want to be anywhere near kids, because you shouldn't have to if you don't want fucking kids, because there's so many fucking bad parents out there.
If you know that your nigga is easy and going, why would you take him to the club with you? Now let's start from the beginning. First of all, me and my homegirl at the first bar, right? While she's sitting down at the first bar, she tells me that the dude next to us is cute. Cool. As soon as she leave, I tell her, hey, my homegirl said that you're cute. Boom. They exchange numbers. Now, this big long-nosed ass nigga told us that he was leaving and he was going home. So when we go to the second bar, she calls her boo and she tells him, hey, meet me at the second bar. I don't know if the first nigga sniffed us or what, but as soon as he seen us walking up, this man comes up. Right? So now she got stopped by the first nigga. The second nigga is on the way. And the third one, who I haven't yet to talk about yet, as soon as the first nigga walk away, a third nigga come up to her, right? So now as we get in the bar, I'm trying to keep certain niggas distracted while she talking to the other one. We all over the place. You know what I'm saying? One of the niggas like, oh dang, it's another dude talking to her. I said, well, he bought her a drink. So what you do? How bad do you want? You finna buy her a bottle? Like, what you finna do? So I snatch her and I tell her, we gotta go to the bathroom now. You two unorganized, baby. We need a plan, a strategy. We need the best way to keep this ship going efficiently. While we're in the bathroom and we talking, we say something along the lines of like, all these niggas. I'm like, yeah, you got all the niggas or something like that. I say something to my friend. Now, these 2 other girls is in there and she look up and she decides to include her motherfucking ass in our conversation. And she says, oh, it better not be my nigga. We're all equally confused. We like, girl, wasn't nobody talking about your nigga? What are you talking about? So now it's gonna get up there. I guess her nigga was standing outside the door, but my thing is, all these niggas in here, you think we want his ugly ass? We walk clean past. I didn't even know he was there. So my friend's trying to hold me back while the people is grabbing the girl and dragging her out the thing. But her boyfriend walk up and he like, my bad, John. She drunk. Like, she just drunk. And then people keep walking up to us like, they just got married, John. Like, they drunk. Like, just do-do-do-do-do. I'm like, nah, it's cool, but who is the bitch talking to? Don't be yelling at me about no ugly ass nigga. He ain't even have the audacity to be cute. She eventually comes up and she's apologizing. She like, I'm so sorry, because look, here's the thing. It was me and 2 other people. The girl ain't say nothing to me, but if you say something to my people, you say something to me, duh. The girl started yelling at my friend's sister. When the girl ended up coming back, she started apologizing to everybody. And she like, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm just drunk. Like, we just got married. So now she looks at the girl who she originally started yelling at. And she was like, I most importantly want to apologize to you. You know what I'm saying? The girl who is my people's, she looked at her like, I ain't gotta explain nothing to you. When she said that girl lost her mind. She like, okay, who is she talking to? Now who is she talking to? And then they gotta drag her drunk ass out. But then when she say it to her, the girl's fiance ends up jumping in like, why the fuck would you say that to her? So now we all beefed out. Cause we like, hold on, nigga, who the fuck are you talking to? So now everybody, you know what I'm saying? And then my friend get the trip and she starts pushing some random dude. I'm like, hold on. It can't be the whole bar versus us. Well, it will be. But it can't be. Like, come on, be realistic now. Let me tell you exactly what happened and why this girl started yelling at us. She started yelling at us because her nigga was getting fucked. Back to back to back to back. So he married her so that he can show his last act of loyalty. So she lost her mind as soon as she heard somebody talking to a boy around me. Bitch, call out the marriage. Like, if you can't trust that nigga that much, don't even get married to him. What are we doing here?
I'm adopted. Bet you didn't know that one. The other day I posted a video like talking about how my dad spoils me, and then I let it slip that he's like technically not my real dad. So here's a story. So my mom had me with a Peruvian, hence why my genes are completely fucking nerfed. So I'm half white and half Peruvian, so it's like Native American. I honestly forget my bio dad's name. Paulo! Oh my god, I remembered. He was never in the picture. He was apparently really mean to my mom when she was pregnant, and I've never known him, but I do know my bio grandpa. Love him. Te quiero, abuelo. My mom's dated some cool people. When she got pregnant with me, she was 21, just turned 22, and she was like a professional dancer, and she danced with Prince, and she like dated fucking Lakers players, Olympic athletes, authors. Like, my mom's genuinely the coolest person ever, and this fuck-ass man nerfed her with a kid. She has me, and when she has me, she starts a Pilates studio on her own, and that's when she meets my dad, because when I was around like 4 years old, he started going to her Pilates studio. Yada yada, they start dating when I think I'm like 6, get married, have my little brother when I'm around 8, and he adopts me when I think I'm like 10. Something like that. So he had like custody of me. Now, in the beginning, I hated this man with my whole heart. Like, I would call him dad and stuff. Like, sometimes I would be sweet, but for the most part, I would hate him. Like, if I ever was mad at him, I would call him his government fucking name, and that was most times. At some point, I got my bike taken away because I was a flight risk, and I would constantly run away from home and go to my grandma's house. Even took my skateboard away. Like, it was that bad. And even though they met when I was super young and they started dating when I was super young, it was majority of my childhood just my mom and I. Like, we moved in with him after like maybe when I was like 7 or 8. But even then, me and my mom would still go out and do stuff. Like, he wasn't like super involved, but then once I had my brother, he became super involved, and like it made me so mad because it felt like I was like losing my mom. He was also god awful with kids. He didn't know how to be like kind. Like, I was majority raised by my grandmother and my mother and my uncle, and they are very kind and caring and compassionate people, like very openly as well, and he just wasn't at all. Like, we struggled trying to connect. It wasn't until I was maybe 13 or 14 we started to like get along and fight less, and just, I don't know, I actually just learned how to fight back. Like, I'm very much like him. Like, you wouldn't be able to guess that I wasn't biologically his because we have the same mannerisms. I argue like him. So he had to like treat me like an adult. And then now we're like best friends. And I'm like probably his favorite. Essentially, the older I get, I'm like crying. The older I get, the more I understand how much he's done for my mom. Wait, what the fuck? Why am I crying? I cannot post this. Older I get, the more I understand what he's done for my mom and I, and like how much he cares. It just took me a long time to like understand how he cares, like understand his like way of showing it. But now we're best friends. I'm literally a mini him, and we love Robert very dearly.